1871, Los Angeles was kind of a Wild West small town. Everybody carries a gun to protect themselves. One murder a day. It is very, very tough neighborhood.
I'm from Los Angeles, but I can't say that I or anyone I know is typically Los Angeles because there's such a variety here.
You have over 100 languages that are spoken, and you have people who have brought their culture, their backgrounds, their language into this city.
What's very positive to me about living here is that in an ideological way, this is one of the most democratic places on earth. If you can swim through all the bigotry and the other things that people put in your way.
Where did I come from? Well, I live in Venice, California, but I was from Northern California, Santa Rosa.
I come from Chicago.
We live in Huntington Beach. We live in Long Beach.
I come from Hamburg, Germany.
Pittsburgh.
Well, you heard of Fresno? Okay, I'm about 85 miles south of Fresno.
We are basically Indians, but we live in Mexico, and we live in Los Angeles to have fun.
What kind of men or women will attract you?
Attract me?
Yeah.
Independent.
What kind of woman will attract you? Me. They have to be nice. They have to be peaceful.
You gotta be cute.
And you gotta be nice, presentable, have a good personality, honest.
They gotta have a little education. They have to have a good education.
Well, when I came here, I had been married for 33 years. So obviously that man attracted me. Very smart, very kind, sweet, good looking.
Blondes, of course. You know, that's the first time. And they got to be fit. To be healthy. And not so stuck on themselves. That's a big importance to me.
What kind of woman will attract me? You're asking me a dangerous question with my wife who's besides me.
What used to be uncommon, intermarriage between, say, whites and Asians, is now almost a cliche, especially if it's a white male and an Asian with an Asian wife. That used to be kind of rare 30, 40 years ago, and now someone said, well, it's just, you just see it all over the place. It's very common.
No, there's no specific cultural background, what I'm looking for.
The race doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter.
No, it don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Not to me.
Not to me either.
I have every race imaginable in my family. With 5 children and a whole bunch of grandchildren, and you know, I've got Indian, I've got black, Mexican, Caucasian, just what I can think of.
One of my sons is married to a girl from Ireland, so I don't know if that counts, but it is a different culture.
No, I don't think we're interracial.
I don't think we're interracial.
No,
Are we interracial?
I'm Italian and Irish.
Let's go to the Gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's actually half Cuban.
I really don't know. I think it's more accepted down here than it is like in the valley, but then that's even changing. You know, people are a lot smarter now.
Like back in like 1918 something, yeah, but probably, but no, not now.
My father, as the first Chinese-American judge, was very cognizant of how the law historically in this country had been used as a tool to marginalize and to discriminate against Chinese and other ethnic minorities. His mother was a U.S. citizen. She was born and raised in California. This was the only country that she had ever known. And yet when she married my grandfather, who was an immigrant from China, she lost her U.S. citizenship. And so as a consequence, she could not vote. And there were other discriminatory laws that prohibited my grandparents from owning property in this country. There were other discriminatory laws which prohibited Chinese from out-marrying. And so it was actually a crime for a Chinese American to marry a Caucasian back at the time when my father was growing up.
You know, in other words, the racism is so is set that you didn't think anything of it. You just worked around it. You didn't question and fight it. And it's in the 60s that I happened to have been in school at UCLA at the time, in a university, and that's when all these things were questioned and no longer accepted.
When an individual can look at two sides of their family and not exactly have a way of saying that they're either Chinese or they're English or whatever, but have to parse it out and say, well, I'm 1/4 and 1/8 and so on, then on the one hand it does help understanding different cultures, because you're forced to realize that culture isn't something that's inherited, it's something that's learned, and that of course goes not only for people who are involved in a biracial or multiracial family, but it's true for the society as a whole.
Well, the reason why I'm dressed like this, I went to church. You gotta look good for God, you know? The culture here is all superficial. It's all about the looks. It's all about how much money you have, the car you drive.
We're just in constant change here. You know, we're kind of like a melting pot for all races. And used to be such a thing as like the white people would live, you know, in this part of town. The blacks lived in another part. The Mexicans lived in another part. And you're finding less of that all the time.
Because we've entertained thoughts of moving back to where my family is in Alabama, but we were just saying we would really miss the fact that there are so many different cultures and traditions and ethnicities and all of that.
I think we want our kids to be exposed to that too.
Well, one doesn't feel lost over here because there are quite a few Mexicans over here who speak Spanish. They speak a lot of languages. Being also from India, we get a good amount of Indian food, Mexican food. People are nice. It's a nice place. You can generally, chill out here.
There is no one group that constitutes the majority. You currently have a city of 3 million, you have a metropolitan city of over 10 million. And among those 10 million people, Latinos comprise about 35 to 40%. Asians comprise about 10 to 12%. African Americans comprise about 8 to 10%. So, and whites that used to be the majority comprise now about a third of the metropolitan area of Los Angeles.
Absolutely. We don't have such an experience with multicultural like you have here. You have all nations, all nationalities, all variations which you find only when you're traveling are mixed here. We don't have that in Hamburg except right now with the World Championship of soccer.
If you're a person going outside to any store now, you're going to see thousands of other people that come from somewhere so different you don't even know about, which is a plus because you learn to accept others, and this is what I think is the positive thing about a place like Los Angeles, because it is a new kind of place, relatively new. It's only 150 years old, let's say, at most.
I love Los Angeles.
One word or a short sentence to describe Los Angeles, what word would you use? Just one word.
Amazing.
Magic? Yes, the Magic. Yeah.